Imagine you're looking at a massive complex puzzle where two entirely different problems lock together to create a tragedy. If you look at the newspaper clipping in the image, it tells a heartbreaking story about the toxic weed killer called Paraquat. But if you pull back the layers, this isn't just a story about chemistry. It's an intersecting crisis of societal vulnerability. Let me break down today's Hindu newspaper's ground report into simple terms and summarize it for you. When we hear about someone ingesting a pesticide to harm themselves, a clinical or superficial view might just label it as depression or mental distress. But a sociological view shows it is a structural crisis. Farmers in India are caught in a brutal economic spiral. The first is debt trap. Modern farming requires expensive inputs, proprietary seeds, scientific chemical fertilizers, and heavy weed killers. If the monsoon fails or market prices crash, the farmer cannot pay back their loans. The second is safety net. There is no safety net because small or tenant farmers often don't have formal land titles. Big banks won't lend to them. They are forced to go to a local loan shark who will charge extortionate interest rates to them. The third is loss of dignity. In a tight-knit rural community, your land is your identity. When a farmer realizes they are about to lose their ancestral land and face social humiliation, it creates a moment of intense, acute emotional despair. Because these highly lethal chemicals are stored casually in households or right next to the kitchen, sometimes, just as mentioned in the story of a farmer in the ground report, that such kind of tragedy is always within arm's reach. Now, you might think, if this chemical is so deadly that it kills hundreds of people and has absolutely no antidote, why doesn't the government just ban it? This is where the governance machinery breaks down due to two massive loopholes. Loophole 1 is the porous borders. It is a federal problem. Under Indian law, the central government handles the registration of chemicals, but the individual states handle the local sales. If state A, like Telangana, realizes people are dying and bans Paraquat, the ban only applies within its own physical borders. However, the state B, right next door, hasn't banned it. Because state borders aren't hard checkpoints for checking agricultural inventory, local dealers simply drive across the state line, buy the chemicals legally in state B and smuggle it back into state A. The state ban becomes a ban on paper. Now, loophole 2. It is the digital blind spot, which means e-commerce. We live in a digital age, but our primary agricultural law, the Insecticides Act, was written in 1968, long before the internet even existed. Today, a farmer in a restricted state can simply open an agri-tech or e-commerce app and order the banned chemical online. Local agriculture inspectors are trained to check physical shops, not the digital delivery trucks. They don't have the data tracking infrastructure to stop online platforms from delivering banned poison right to a farmer's doorstep. Now the industry always comes in between. The corporate chemical lobby argues that banning these substances will make farming too expensive and ruin crop yields. But internal industry documents show that corporations have known for decades how lethal these products are, yet resisted changing their packaging because it was economically inconvenient for them. Now, the social vulnerability provides the tragic impulse, while the broken, fragmented governance provides the easy, unregulated access to the weapon. And to save lives, India cannot rely on band-aid state laws. It requires a unified national ban, a digital tracking of chemicals, and a shift towards sustainable, chemical-free farming.